Hey guys, this is Irie StarCraft, and I'm going to be casting one more game tonight before I pass out. And this game is going to be on Tempest, a 2v2 from ProTech. And it is going to be Vray, the red Protoss, and his partner is going to be hyperrift, the blue Zerg. Now this team is a 2,000 point plus 2v2 team. I think they're ranked about 60th or so. So not a shabby team by any means, definitely high up. And it's going to be dReam, the teal Protoss, and ProTech will be on Terran this game. He'll be the purple Terran. And so as this game gets underway, I just I want to say I'm sorry if my libido has not been up to par these last few games. I've been feeling quite lethargic and tired ever since I got my acupuncture a couple of days ago, or yesterday actually. And usually it makes me, usually it relaxes me for about the day, but this time I got these, I got hooked up to the machine that sends the electric pulses into your needles, and I had it on my neck, and it definitely relaxed me. And this is the next day, and I'm still like totally just sort of disoriented. I'm like, my balance feels all funny, and I just feel strangely out of it. So I apologize if I maybe have not been going as nuts as I usually do in these battles, but I will do my best in this game for you. And dReam, now actually I don't think I have cast any games with dReam. I'm not sure if this was a random teammate of ProTech's, probably not, but I really don't know. Speaking of which, ProTech now is the #1 overall 2v2 random player, last I checked. So that is congratulations there to him, and that's pretty impressive. So we'll see how long he can hold on to that ranking. I don't think he's ahead by much right now. So dReam did find out that there is no base over here, and the same goes for hyperrift. So we'll see where the probe goes next. Actually going to go across, it looks like, and he will find out that there is nothing up there. Or wait a minute, they already, actually that was already scouted by, I'm going to have to check the vision now of Vray, and so yeah, that actually was Vray that had checked that base while I was blabbing on about my acupuncture there. And so hyperrift actually has his Zerglings out, and a quick combat shield research from ProTech. So it looks like we're going to see a mass marine early push from him, the metabolic boost on the way from hyperrift. So we'll see how this pans out here. It looks like the warp gate is already on the way, so pretty standard stuff all around, though that combat shield seems very early to me. And now this scouting probe actually doubling back. He could have ran all the way in here and gotten more sight. He wouldn't have seen much because it's just a couple gateways and a cybernetic score, nothing out of the ordinary from Vray, but instead tried to double back and just let the zealot kill it. So Vray is happy about that with his little winky smile. And meanwhile, hyperrift massing up a lot of Zerglings, waiting for that speed to finish, and probably going to start harassing. But look at the wall of zealots that dReam has created here, opting to use zealots instead of buildings to create a wall. I wonder if hyperrift, instead of just sitting at the middle of the map massing up Zerglings, if he had gone straight after dReam's base, we might be seeing, he might have been able to do a little bit of economic damage, but instead he is opting to just mass up in the middle of the map. And you see ProTech, as we check his base, getting now 2 reactors down on these barracks, so there are going to be a lot of Marines on the field very soon here, as ProTech just biding his time until he gets those reactors up to just start pumping those Marines. And it looks like now we're going to see some pressure here, because Vray is going to be putting down the proxy pylon to warp in reinforcements, and now hyperrift is going to test the waters up here. He's going to see a bunch of zealots. Now going to send out a single Zergling to get that scout. Doesn't want to lose too many Zerglings up here, but it looks like with a decent amount of Marines and a bunch more on the way, 5 more on the way, and probably a lot more after that, these Zerglings are going to be in big trouble here if they don't pull back. And the Zerglings not being looked after right there. Hyperrift losing a couple of them, and these ones taking a bit of damage, but not too much loss. He was able to pull that back in time. There's a pretty even army on the field, but it looks like Hyperrift's going to try and sneak around behind and run in the Protoss base while Vray lures this army out. So how much damage are these Zerglings going to be able to do? They're going to, some of them are going to split off here and surround this stalker here. And these are going to try and kill a bunch of probes. Yeah, how many are they going to kill? I don't know. The Marines from ProTech come out. Look at the split right here, and now the Marines being pulled back from the initial push. And those are going to quickly clean up those Zerglings. The Zergling, just one of them left here in the base. Really can't do anything at this point. So dReam and ProTech now warding that attack off pretty nicely. Because hyperrift lost a lot of Zerglings in that engagement and did not really do that much damage. So quick look at the economic tab. Hyperrift meanwhile is way behind in economy from everybody else because he got so many early Zerglings. And it looks like we're going to see a press here from ProTech, and dReam are going to try and counter that attack. And they're going to see this pylon. Do they see that pylon? Do they care about that pylon? They should, but I don't know if they saw that. And they're going to press right into the main, though. Here we go. The Marines from ProTech trying to pull back from these Zealots and just try and get as many shots as they can without taking any damage. The Guardian Shield does go up. A nice force field in the back to trap a whole bunch of Marines. The Zealots from Vray running in and killing a lot of Marines. Look at the Banelings coming out from hyperrift. They're going to blow up on all the Marines. Nicely done right there from Vray and hyperrift. But dReam, meanwhile, has been pecking away at these Vray's units back here, and more Zerglings now on the way from hyperrift are going to ward that attack back. So nicely done right there by Vray and hyperrift to force back that attack. This proxy pylon did go down. ProTech now with stim finished is going to be trying to kill as much as he can with these Marines. And that's not going to be much because look at all of Vray's units. Those great force fields trapped a lot of Marines to those Zealots that just ran right up and started slicing and dicing them. So nicely done there by Vray. And now he's going to try and press the issue. He doesn't have much help, only a couple of Zerglings. And now with these reinforcements on the way, Vray is going to have to pull back. So are they going to give chase? Is dReam and ProTech going to give chase? dReam with those fast stalkers on the field and realizing there aren't many Zerglings out could try and chase and do some damage. But it looks like he is going to opt to try and get his expansion underway. So Vray is going to try and set up camp here in the middle. The Baneling, one Baneling left from hyperrift. That was a nice Baneling push into those force fields. So a nice combination of force fields come with the Banelings and the Zealots in that last defense. So ProTech now pinging here. Looks like he doesn't want to let them get control of this watchtower. So this should be a pretty close engagement here. And it's going to come down to positioning. These Stalkers trying to fire away that pylon, but then the engagement begins here, and this really tiny choke here. The Zergling's trying to utilize the open space, and now ProTech using his stim, not even going to care about these force fields, just using that stim. And oh, he's going to run into a couple of Banelings right there. A bunch of Marines go down, and ProTech losing a lot of units. dReam is trying to pull back his Stalkers and kill as much as he can. But there's too many Stalkers on the field for Vray, and now hyperrift with his Zerglings. This game is going back and forth right now. I'm going to switch back to production tab as now hyperrift and dReam engaged here. The Zerglings trying to kill as many of these Stalkers as they can. They're going to actually run way too far ahead there. Could have maybe killed more Stalkers. Now Vray is pressing the issue, but the Marauders are on the field for ProTech, and those Marauders are going to spell disaster for these Stalkers, realizing they need to book it out there. And coming back to the comfort of this proxy pylon and his warp gate technology. And hyperrift with a few Zerglings out here needs to be look at hyperrift still only with 14 harvesters. So what is going on back there? And this he's just pumping Zerglings, trying to end this right now. And so many of these Zerglings are going down because ProTech and dReam are able to just scoot and shoot backwards and just kiting these Zealots back towards their main base. So I don't know about that attack right there. I think Vray and hyperrift would have been better served to try and get expansions of their own, instead opting to press at the choke point of dReam and ProTech and losing a lot of units. And hyperrift is so far behind in economy, and now these Banelings are gonna go down. This last one is gonna definitely go down. The Banelings stopping, and now hyperrift in a lot of trouble, pulling back his Zerglings, and now Vray with some of his Zealots lagging behind the rest of his army. Those are in trouble. These Stalkers just getting free shots, now gonna pull back from dReam. So a definite advantage right now in the favor of ProTech and dReam, because they now both have their expansion. dReam's expansion is fully saturated. ProTech's is now a planetary fortress, and that saturation is drastically increasing right now. As the APM from dReam is just keeping it. Look at this guy just dancing all over the place. He's like keeping his APM at some crazy number. He must be doing a lot of crazy stuff right now, as you see him getting 1 Twilight Council and 1 Pylon. So anyway, the G from ProTech, that means go. So it's gonna come down right here to this battle. We'll see if Vray can get some nice force field action again. And here we go. Where are the force fields? A couple of force fields not doing a whole lot there from ProTech, it looks like. Now Vray trying to trap this fireball. The Baneling's killing a lot of Marines there. Oh, a lot of Marines going down. The last Baneling going to kill 1 more Marine. Meanwhile, Vray and dReam are duking it out down here on the bottom. And this is a close battle right now. The Zealots are forcing the Stalkers back. Meanwhile, the Sentries and Stalkers are shooting away, and more force fields trapping a couple more Stalkers in here nicely. This is Vray maybe getting a little overextended out into the middle of this map, but really the battles have just been going back and forth in this game. The difference though is that dReam and ProTech have those expansions running, so they are going to be able to reinforce way quicker. hyperrift trying desperately to surround some Stalkers, but he is so far behind in this game, just getting out meager numbers of Zerglings. Those Banelings have done really well against ProTech's Marines. But there's so many Stalkers from dReam, these force fields not going to be able to do anything at all. If anything, they're hurting Vray because he's getting his own units stuck, and now the Marauder slow is going to pick off a ton of units here. This Zergling's getting caught out of position, and Vray and hyperrift are in a bad spot. hyperrift just, where is he sending his Zerglings out here? Rallying them to a dangerous spot. And these Stalkers are going to come right up on the creep. Look at all the sentries from Vray. He's going to try and split this army. Needs to get a better split. He's going to trap the army. Try to trap it, but the Stalkers scooting and shooting back. 1 more Stalker is going to go down. Another Stalker. The Zealot charge is now complete for Vray, as you saw those Zealots take off running. And this last Stalker, could it go down from these charged Zealots? The Zerglings from hyperrift coming and trying to clean up as many as they can. And dReam is losing a lot of Stalkers while he's trying to pull back, and his proxy pylon's going to go down. And where is ProTech? What is ProTech doing? Meanwhile, ProTech has been dropping off on Vray's sneak expansion that he just finished. I did not see that going down. I'm sorry, you guys, but it's not going to matter because ProTech has found that out. Meanwhile, trying to get a 3rd base of his own, as dReam is just trying to hold off Vray, but now ProTech with a 2nd army back here is going to assist him in doing that. Vray going to press the issue again and getting a split there, but not able to cut off the retreat route right there. And most of those Stalkers and Zealots get away, but here come the Marines and Marauders from ProTech, and they are going to force that back. It's just back and forth game right now. I feel like if dReam and ProTech decided to, they could mass up and possibly end this. But look at Vray and hyperrift have nothing building right now because ProTech is dropping into the main of Vray, fresh off of that expansion, and this has got to be it, because now this armies are totally out of position. Vray is realizing there's no way I can get my army back there in time, and he is trying to press the issue. And look at this horrible positioning right there. Vray getting his units stuck in between the watchtower and the wall, inside the bushes with no vision. Meanwhile, ProTech with his Medivacs giving vision of that whole thing, just firing away. So some bad positioning there at the end by Vray, though it was a valiant effort by Vray and hyperrift to hold off the relentless assault. As some Banelings are going to come here trying to get into this fireball and doing a lot of damage, but that was just for shits and giggles because ProTech and dReam are going to take this game. The GGs are out. hyperrift was so far behind in economy this entire game, and his base was not actually getting harassed. So, I mean, really, that was the difference, is that hyperrift just could not keep up in the unit department overall. For some reason, we have GGs, but just now they are leaving the game. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, ProTech, for sending me this game, and peace out.